Hello, fellow traders. I'm doing a video now about post analysis. It's a topic that came up recently from a question, and I think probably one of the most important things I've learned from Mark Minervini is the activity of post analysis. When we're in the middle of a trade, there's pressure, there's money. Are we making the best decisions? We're all human. We can all be susceptible to bad decisions or jumping the gun, selling too soon, holding too long. And the best way to find that out is by doing post analysis. Now, Mark recommends you look at trades that are at least like 3 months ago, and to do this every 3 months or so for trades that are 3 months older. The reason for that 3 months, it's like he says, and I agree with him, that you basically get like the disconnection of your emotions from that trade. So it's just like you're ranking anybody's trade. You're not in it, you're not emotional, you're not on a high from making money, you're not in the dumps from losing money. You're basically looking this as neutral as possible. Now obviously we're humans, but this is the idea. So first of all, when I buy stocks, I tend to put a buy and sell line where I buy them initially and where I sell them. So we'll return to this in a moment, but so normally when I'm buying a stock, there's white space on my trading platform. So what I'll do is I'll grab a line and I'll just draw a line and I'll clone this line. So for example, let's say I bought this at, we'll just pretend that I bought this at the high of today, which is 28.43. So I'll go in here and I'll put in 28.43. 28.43 because I like it precise. And then what I'll do is, and I'm just going to copy that value in my text, and I'll get to this in a moment. I use a lot of these saved defaults. So I use initial buy line, and basically it just says to me initial buy. I'll paste the price in, and it just saves some formatting. I like when I buy, I put a green line, and when I put a stop, I put a red line. Okay, there's that. Then I'll take this, and let's just say I put a stop at the low of this day for argument's sake. So that's the low is 27.15. So let's just say I put the low in at 27.10, just slightly undercutting that day. And then what I'll do is I'll come here and I'll go to sell line, and it'll say here, look, I'll put the price and then how much percentage if I want, right? So I could quickly just measure that or just do a mathematical, but let's just say that is whatever, 4.5%. So what I'll do is I'll click here and I'll put 4.5%. So basically this tells me that I bought it, and on this particular day I bought it. And what I'll usually do is I'll put a green arrow on the day that I bought it. So the day that I bought it here. This was my initial buy, and this was my initial stop. Now I do that because this part of the chart is blank. Okay, so let's get back to the post analysis. So I would have come here and those markups would have been there. So let's look at this particular stock, which I bought on March 12th. So right here on March 12th, I bought this stock. And I bought it at 37.90. So just a little bit over the high of the day prior. So if we were going to look at a line, and I'll just draw it this way, that was at 37.90. Okay, I just bought it on this day, slightly over the high of this day before. So now so basically what I would do is normally I would put a green arrow on the day that I bought it, right here. And then I would put a red arrow on the day that I sold it. So I actually sold this stock on this day. However, that's more of a black and white kind of buy, sell, pretty simple. Doesn't really tell me too much. Yeah, that I make money, great. So what we want to do is we want to add context, for example. Like we could have done something where, and I use these save templates where I'll say, and I'll click on settings, and I said, so maybe I scaled into it, so maybe I bought 50%. So you see how now I'm adding more information to the trade. And then let's say later on I added again, so maybe I was scaling in, I put on half the position, and then I put on another half position. And I can always write stuff, added midday, whatever I want, right? To just give me some information when I come back. Let's say here, I actually sold it entirely, but maybe I didn't sell it entirely. Maybe I only sold half. So I would come here and I would say sold 50%, right? So maybe into strength, I sold 50% of it, and then I held back, and then it could be that now I added back here, maybe I added the 50% again, right? So I'm back at a full position. I can write down the price where I bought it and sold it, and then maybe I'm reducing here, etc. Maybe I reduced again, and I can do that by putting in these arrows, right? Now I'm just making up something. This is not actually how I handled the trade, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what buying and selling through a trade could look like. So as we spoke before, the real success you're going to have as a trader is by being incremental. So not putting on your position all at once, stepping into it, maybe putting on a piece, seeing how it moves, see if it doesn't move against you, selling off into strength, but holding a piece for a bigger move. And you could basically play this thing all the way down. Then you want to say, okay, well, look, how long did I hold this for? Would it have made sense for me to hold it up until here, to go through these moves or not? And this is just a stock I picked at random. This is not a lesson on was this a good buy or was not a good buy. You would then rank yourself with a scorecard, right? So for example, here I bought this stock here. So, a little bit of a consolidation. So what I highly recommend is to do things like putting in actually some comments in your chart, right? So you go in and you said, bought at the high of, the previous day. And that's the simple stuff, right? And you can say the price, etc. But you can also say, like, what were you thinking? What did you like about this stock? And I'm just going to write whatever X is. And the idea is that I'm putting in words about what I feel, why I believe in this stock, what was my thought pattern or what was my plan going in. Like right at the beginning, I said, hey, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hold this for, let's say my average gain right now is 7% year to date. Well, I want to sell as soon as I pass my average gain, take those earnings and go into two other names. So I would put that in my plan, in my text. And then, if there's anything that happened here, like we don't know what happened here, like why did this day drop? Well, maybe there was an event in the market. Maybe there was. So you could annotate, that something happened with the Fed, a Fed announcement. Did that cause something? Did you get nervous? Were you underwater on some other in your portfolio overall, and you emotionally got pushed into selling because you were nervous about losing more money than you already lost? All of these things can be documented right on the chart. And then you can just take a snapshot of these charts and store them. So it has your buy date, your sell date, what did you make, and obviously I'm hoping that you guys are all keeping your stats, where you bought, where you sold, what's your batting average, and your average gain and your average loss. So that information, going back and say, hey, well, it made sense. This was my plan. If I had an average gain of 7% and I just wanted to sell more than my average gain, this stock went up 9%, I sold it. Or I wanted to hold this for a larger move, and that's what I did. I stuck to my plan. This is what my plan is. So then you come back 3 months later and you say, well, was this a good buy? And you can rank, it was a good buy, it was not such a great buy. Was this a good sell? Did I sell in time? Did I sell too early? Did I hold too long? Should I have sold off a piece, financed some risk, and then hold for a larger move? All of these things are hard to tell in the moment, especially when you're in the trade. Ideally, you will come back, look at your trades, and remember that you're going to do a ton of trades. So everything that we're doing here is like what you do on average. What's your average loss? What's your average gain? On average, you start smoothing out. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. So, but 85% of the time you do the right thing. And then you just try to get better and better on average as a trader. And the more you stick to your plan, the more you buy proper setups with low risk entry points, you may lose individual trades, but overall you'll make a lot of money. I hope this was helpful. I'll post it shortly.